Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to share with you all our humble study regarding spiritual life. It is what is death is not the end. Charles Kemp from France, Nadia Girsis from Lithuania, Essa Rossi, myself from the UK, and Stephen Bertozzo from Ireland. Our lives have been prepared to share with you all the same issues that is around the world, in our heads, in our minds, in our curiosity. The talking about death is not the end is a question. The idea of nothingness is very terrible. Those who believe that the voice of a friend who weeps for someone is lost is a vacuum, encountering the least sign of response are to be pitied. Those who think everything that's with the body can never have known a pure and saintly affection. They believe that the being who enlightened their world with vast intelligence is a mere combination of matter that is extinguished forever. Just as a flame that dearly loved person such as father, mother, or adored child, nothing remains but a handful of dust that the wind will inevitably disperse. So our studies series has based on the Spiritist philosophy and researches from scientists, as well as we have today a video by Dr. Peter Fennick in 2 minutes. I will say his CV now. And Dr. Peter Fennick is a neuropsychiatrist and a neurophysiologist who is known for his studies of the end-of-life phenomena, including near-death experiences and deathbed visions of the dying person, as well as the experiences of hospice and palliative care workers and relatives of dying people. Dr. Fennick believes that consciousness may be independent of the brain and so able to survive the death of pain, a theory which has divided the scientific community. The problem with death is deeply rooted in our culture and the social organization of death rituals. Dr. Fennick believes that with serious engagement and through further investigation of these phenomena, he can help change attitudes so that we in the West can face up to death and embrace it as a significant and sacred part of life. We have become used to believing that we have to shield each other from the idea of death. Fear of death means we view it as something to be taught every step of the way. So Dr. Peter Fennick will be giving a talk in our online 8th British Congress on Medicine and Spirituality on 22nd of May 2021, one-day Congress, free online via Facebook and YouTube in the comfort of your home. So now we can see our Dr. Peter Fennick video and share with you all. I ask Steve, please, if you can show the video.
the time of death, there is something called deathbed coincidences. In these, the dying person, at the moment of death, because we've got data to support that, goes and visits somebody to whom they're emotionally connected. They have to be emotionally connected. And they give them a message. And the message, the way they give the message, depends on how the person who's receiving the message are. If you're awake, then you tend to feel the person's presence. You feel something awful may have happened to them. You have to contact them and find out what's going on. They very seldom give a message then. But if you're asleep, then you get a narrative dream. You're told a story. You're visited by the dying people, and they will say, I'm okay. Please don't worry about me. It's all right. And then they leave. So these are very, very reassuring to the family and the relatives. And then at the time of death and just after death, there are a lot of things which happen. People see light in the room over the time that you're dying. Other people see things leaving the body. Other people experience the fact that their clocks may have stopped at the time of death. So there are lots of things that many of them are quite non-local. Animals are very common in the dying phase, and birds particularly. We've got a lot of stories of birds that seem to be carrying the people who the relatives feel, carrying the spirit of the dying person. Some people in the stories we have associate this going process with a change in temperature in the room, and sometimes with a feeling that something has left. And then that seems to be the end of the dying process. So there are lots of exciting things.
Thank you, Stephen. Now, Nadia, Dr. Nadia, can say something for us.
Hello. Dr. Peter Fanning was talking about the deathbed experience visitors, but this happens in near-death experiences. So it happens with children and adults, and when the moment of the near-death experience happens when there is a cardiac arrest, for example, or when a patient is under anesthesia for an operation. So they have no spontaneous breathing during cardiac arrest, the chest, the heart is not beating, there's no cortical activity in the brain. So the cognitive activity, the capacity of perception for those patients or those people who are under cardiac arrest or under anesthesia, they don't have this perception of surroundings. So how can we explain when people go after explaining when they come back from the cardiac arrest what happened, what they have seen, this light at the end of the tunnel, or they see those people who have died before them, or their parents, their children, their beloved animals as well. So how can science explain this? Many scientists have been very materialistic, saying that the brain commands our thoughts, or the brain is a secretion. Our thoughts is a secretion of our brain. But how can we explain when the person is under cardiac arrest, sleeping under surgery and anesthesia, and they go through all this experience, having a feeling of happiness, of joy, and they come back and they have this purpose of life. So they have patients, they have their loved ones waiting for them. So they come back to life to continue the life, but they are not afraid anymore of dying. So that's what also Dr. Fennick was saying. They feel a little bit comfort that knowing that after the death of their body, there's something better, something beautiful. They have reassurance that everything is going to be okay when the body, the physical body, this material body, will die, but their soul, their spirit will continue.
So Dr. Peter Fenwick used to say that is a major passage because I had an experience at home, but I will talk later about with twice with near-death experience. It is spontaneously, of course, but there was something powerful that kept make me study more about spirituality. That our life does never end with our death. There is more. Our conscience is still living. Our spirit is still living after the when body dies. And the experiences that Nadia is talking about, I think now Charles can talk a little bit, Esteban as well, is something that occur more than we think. I think everyone, more or less, in some way, passed this kind of thing in their lives. Oh, Charles.
Indeed, Elsa, you are right. Thank you for this wonderful video from Peter Fenwick, and also Nadia for all your statements, which are absolutely very strong. We have seen during the first video, do we have a soul? That there are more and more evidences about the soul. So this question of the dead is immediately the next one. Once we are convinced we have a soul, okay, what happens then when we die? And so for the materialistic people, still, when we die, we go to nothingness. And this is really terrible. I mean, I today have difficulty to understand how I could overcome difficulties in the life. It must be very difficult when we have such a kind of way of thinking. On the other hand, when we are convinced that we have a soul, of course, then when we die, it's just the soul getting free from our physical body, which is aged and not operational anymore. And this is exactly one of the phenomenon which is also proving an element of proof that we have a soul. Are all these phenomena, as you told and as Peter Fenwick told and described, which happens very frequently when we come for the old, a lot of person coming close to death. So Peter Fenwick studied that, but a lot of other authors studying that. Even in the past, Ernesto Bolzano, for instance, a lot of others. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of phenomena like this. And as you told, it can sometimes also happen in our own life. I can maybe just shortly talk about my father. He was very ill, and the last day he was kind of half asleep like this. And all of a sudden, he was talking with someone and clearly calling the name of his mother, who, of course, passed away 30 years before him. And then he woke up, and I asked him, "Did you see your mother?" He told, "Yes, I did see my mother." And my father was not, he was not skeptical, but he was always very, a lot of reserve in this type of subject. And here I could see really it happened with him. He had this vision of, as Peter Fenwick told, of someone coming, welcoming him in this phase of life. And really, I mean, this gives then much more strength to overcome the difficulty in our life. If we really think that afterlife is nothingness, logical thinking is telling, okay, let's make all we can while the life is on, and forgetting everything, and you are just living the maximum during your life, and then completely forgetting the next things, what happens after the death. Of course, we should make use of our life as long as possible for doing maximum of things, but we also have never to forget that at the end, another stage, another step of life is continuing. And there is a lot of things that we don't take with us over there. And all material things, physical body, money, car, house, everything stays here. We just go to the other side with our consciousness, good or bad, with our knowledge. And this is what we have to cultivate more. And it gives a big strength to the morality, basically, to become a better person.
Yeah, Dr. Elaine Drysdale had, if someone wants to watch the videos from the last year and the previous year as well, the Medical Spiritist Congress, she was talking about this, the experience of those palliative patients or patients who are in this terminal lucidity. So they have Alzheimer, for example, so they have very advanced stage of dementia. They don't recognize anyone, but in moments before death, they see, usually the majority see or a mom or a dad or a spouse, and then sometimes a brother, sister, or sometimes even an unknown person, and come and to tell them that everything is going to be okay. And I've seen also, I think it was one of Dr. Phoenix's videos as well, saying a quote from Thomas Edison, the American inventor. He just before death, he said to his wife, "It's quoting, it's very beautiful over there." And then he closed his eyes and he died. So this is calms the person who is in that moment of suffering. It gives hope also, and also calms the parents, because when we see our family in those moments, final moments, we have also uncertainties. But when we learn that the life goes on, and according to our moral behaviors or moral, I can say behaviors or actions, according to what we have done in life, and then we have this the certainty that everything's going to be okay, and the loved ones who are dying, they're going to be in a better place, pain free, without suffering, and this is very, very reassuring for them and for us, who are still here. Stephen,
I think
what do you think?
spirituality. Stephen.
I mean, well, it's everybody. Some stage of your life, you ask, okay, what if that? What is that not the end? What I need to face when I'm gonna die? All these materialism things I have purchased. What the value for that? What lessons are gonna bring with me? So it is no matter your faith, but someday you're gonna ask this question, and it's good to know that science today, doctors like Peter Fenwick and many others who study near-death experience, they can say at the crucial moment, we have a comfort, we have a calmness, a certainty that moment someone was afraid of, it's something very beautiful.
And Stephen,
I can share one.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
No, okay. Maybe
I can
just
share
add
an experience.
to what Stephen said is mankind is fearing what he doesn't know mostly. So we all will die one day with 100% probability. This is 100% sure that one day we will die, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is there something, I would say, that we could neglect to try to know and to learn and to study what will happen at that moment? It's of extreme importance. And the more we study with all these evidences that we have listed so far, the more we see that something is continuing indeed. And it is giving us so much strength, so much force for in our life, that it's really a pity to stay with this a priori saying, no, it's nothing, nobody has never proven that there is a soul or whatever. Nobody either proved that there is no soul. So the question we should ask is, okay, let's face the facts. Let's think about, let's also make introspection in ourselves and to find out all these huge potentialities we have in us, and that will, luckily, and for sure, the question of a matter of conviction, survive to what we call the dead.
And you were saying, Elsa, you have
The
a
experience that we are doing, yeah. I'm saying, Stephen, that all of us, we have every time, every moment that we are going to sleep, we have this experience ourselves, because our soul that is incarnated, we studied last week, we talked about last week, that about soul. So our soul is still attached to our body, that we called soul. The spirit is attached to the body, is still here, free, goes here and there while our body is sleeping. So we die every night or every time that we sleep, because our spirits are free from the body, can go everywhere. It's still attached, of course, because we didn't finish yet our incarnation. But once the spirit leaves the body, as in near-death experiences, we can see everywhere, we can return to the body and can describe things that doctors and nurses, care hospices, they say, no, it is impossible that you know that. But surely in the research of Dr. Peter, we can read loads of kind of things. And the personal experiences that I had with my husband, one day before he died, 2 days before he died, he started seeing his relatives that passed away before him. And of course, he was in the bed. My son was stand up in the foot of the bed. And I was saying to my son, go further because someone is here talking to me. There's no one more there, only my son and myself. And this happened Friday, Saturday, and he died Sunday. Sunday morning, he was nearly not speaking anymore, but he wrote with his hand like that, shaking hand, wrote, this is the last bath that you are giving to me. I was washing him. And he said, goodbye, 5 p.m., 5 o'clock in Brazil, 5 p.m. And so after that, I call his brothers and sisters. It was 8 doctors in the family. All of them came to our home and stayed there. 5 o'clock, all of them were in the bedroom. 5 p.m. He gave one deep breath and nothing else. And they said, put the towels because he will bleed, blah, blah, blah. No hemorrhage, no bleeding. And peacefully, he left his body. Peacefully, he left his body. There are more things to tell, but I stopped here to see that in my family, my young children, my brothers, etc., they were there. They saw everything regarding this passage. That is really beautiful. It's a moment of, but is something that is an academic way to learn that there is consciousness beyond the brain. There are more things that we can say, that the researchers, doctors, scientists, they are doing more, and beautifully they are doing with the openscience.org. There is loads of things to read about non-materialistic world. I find the word now because I talk too much.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
no.
Do you agree with me?
yeah, sure. The scientists are investigating now what's beyond the physical body, the material body. So that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
You
Elsa, for
both,
sharing.
Elsa and Charles.
Yeah, guys, we do have a question here. I know this topic. We will talk about it in a program itself, but we have this. So Gabriele Palermo saying, so does suicide is not the end of life?
It's funny that she asked because I was gonna talk about it just now. I was gonna say about the negative near-death experiences, those who commit suicide, but they try to commit suicide, but they can't. Luckily, they can't. So they feel during this experience that those people who have a good near-death experience, or the terminal lucidity, the deathbed visitors that come this moment, those who have a good experience, they have a feeling of peace, of love, of joy. But those who try to commit suicide, they feel pain, they hear screams, they feel cold, they feel very unwell. They want to go back to their body as quick as possible, because that's a very, very scary. They get afraid of what they are seeing and what they are feeling and or hearing. So this is another proof that suicide is not the end, and those who are thinking that they're gonna end their problems, or their pain with the suicide, they are just going to a place where it's not very good and is going to not have any solution to their problems. It's going to just make it everything worse for them, for those who stayed here. So suicide is not the answer. Yeah, so I was going to say something.
Yes, suicide is a
Would
wrong
you like to
outlet, though. Clearly, the people have a big suffering, trials in their life, and so on. And this is exactly the nothingness. So the people convinced from the nothingness. Okay, nothingness for nothingness. It's let's go immediately to it. Unfortunately, it's not like this. So the soul is surviving, and as you told Nadia, suicide is not the best solution to solve the problems. And this is why we are supporting all this campaign for prevention of suicide, for helping the people with difficulties, and doing whatever we can to prevent the people trying to go through this path. And I mean, all the communications we have from souls that committed suicide are unanimously saying it is a mistake. It's worse. I shouldn't have done that. So, voilà. Look for another solution. Stay calm, patient. Ask for help, and that is the best solution, because there is no problem, such problems that cannot find a reasonable solution.
Pray for your guardian angel, for the high spirits, for God, for Jesus, for whatever you believe, to ask to help, to give you strength, to keep finding a solution for your problem, because the solution will come, the help will come somehow, if you keep firm, and the help will come.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that your video is cutting, and then you want to talk, and then we talk in front of you, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. We are here talking as a friends in a big room, a nice room, a warm room, and discuss something that is very important. I would like to say that we have 5 books of spiritists and science, spiritual science, that is spiritism, is a philosophy of science us all these kind of things. And in Kardec's time, he wrote heaven and hell, a lot of information regarding suicide, regarding end of life experiences, regarding everything beyond the physical body. And in these studies, some psychiatrists, doctors that every 2 years come to give a talk in our congresses about medicine and spirituality, they know these books. They said these books, they are academic books that should be studied more in universities because there are amazing things to learn. I will read a small passage here now from one small paragraph from the Heaven and Hell. Has there ever been anything more disheartening than the thought of complete and utter annihilation? Our dearest affections, our intelligence and progress, the knowledge we have so laboriously acquired, everything dissolved into chaos, everything lost. So what good would it do for us to put forth any effort to make ourselves better individuals, to overcome our passions, or to exhaust ourselves trying to enlighten our mind, if we could derive no benefit from it, from any of it, or especially if we were to succumb to that perhaps all of it no use in the end. Suicide can cut their pains. They don't want to die. They want to cut their momentaneous pain. I read yesterday one of the comments, one of these videos of Dr. Peter, that a nurse in the chat, she wrote that she was she was in depression. She took some medicine and tried to end her life. She took the medicine and with pain, but she didn't die. She was a person that did not believe in the spiritual world. And she started in pain, crying, saw these spirits that she wrote another term of vultures or something like that. And she said she cried or something. Someone came and took her to the hospital. She was out of her body, seeing everything. When they were taking her to the hospital, to the ambulance, she followed everything, but she was out of her body. And when she, of course, was cured and returned to life, normal life, she told about that for people. That this is a medicament that makes your brain act wrongly, but you were almost dead. She said, no, I saw everything. So this as well is an information, good information that researchers, but someone in the chat. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I just want to say something like we need to, we think it's the end because, like Charlie said, we don't know, the human don't know what come after. But if at that moment you say, and if my problems will not finish, so that's the main question we needed to bear in our mind and say, okay, I kill myself now, But if my suffering, my problems, my worries, my anxiety, my fears will not cease, if not cease, how are you going to regret yourself and come back? So those questions we need to bring ourselves. Yeah. And
so there's carry on.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, mainly when I watch these videos about near-death experience, I would say a big chunk of all these cases, everybody see a light. Why do you think there is always this light involved in this near-death experience?
So we have to fight with materialism in order to help these people to understand, to help all of us, I include myself, to understand that our spirit is eternal. We are spirit first. We have a chance to incarnate in several existences, improving ourselves every time a little bit more. Otherwise, we will suffer the consequences, of course, but it's not a punishment from Almighty Father or God or the name that you have to say. It's ourselves that are doing this towards us. Because the psychology of Spiritism bring us a way that it came from the psychologists in the world. Yeah? The one that led us to learn about love each other. If I love you, I do my best to you, you do my best towards me, or I will pay less attention to the problems. So suicidal people or people that wants to end their problems or relations or everything, or try to commit suicide many times, sometimes 3 or 4 times in their lives, they are punishing themselves. No one is doing that. And at the end of the day, they never died. If you cut the life now, the existence now, the spirit is still living. We had our mediumship meeting. We received these spirits, helping them in order to know that there is a spirit of man talking to a body of a lady, and they say, "Oh, what I'm doing here? What this happened? I died. No, you're not dead. You are still living, my friend. So we have to help them. That is another for another time, but it's very important to know that we never die. We never die. We are eternal. We are progressing. One day we will be like Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Gandhi, these superior spirits that came to incarnate to help humanity to evolve a little bit. But the scientists should work together about the social way to improve, in the spiritual way to improve as well. The physical body and the spiritual body, we are going together further. Do you agree, Charles?
Yes, sure. I mean, this is what we are exactly trying to disseminate here. By doing scientific researches, serious researches on this subject of the soul and what happens with the soul after the death, we come to facts which are accumulating and giving at the end the evidence of these statements, not on a dogmatic point of view, simply as a deduction we can logically and scientifically make out of the observation of the facts. So it's not a question of belief anymore. It's a question of conviction. It's something which has more strength. It's also not, I believe I have a soul because it's written in this or that book, or because the Pope or who else has told it. No, that's not the case here. We are convinced about the existence and the survival of the soul after the dead because of all the accumulation of this phenomenon and facts, near-death experience, all these phenomena which are happening when we on the people who are coming close to death, the mediumship communication, as you exactly told Elsa. At the end, okay, we have to recognize the evidences. The facts are really very, very strong. And after this, it is up to us, with our liberty, our autonomy, to make our choices, what we want in our life, and what we don't want. And this is really something extremely powerful to help us in becoming better person, to be more patient, to work more in helping the others. All these people who don't know this, now we are working on the dissemination. The people which are also depressed, and someone is writing here also as a comment that the process of suicide comes slowly, progressively. It nevertheless can be detected. And often just to ask to a person which is depressed, how are you? Can I help you? Just a simple question to show empathy or something is making a huge, huge, huge difference. And this is basically what we are encouraging. And this is a consequence of the observation of the facts and of this conviction that we gained through this rational approach towards this question of soul and death and so on.
What also those people who came from their near-death experience, who tell their near-death experiences, they usually say that they made a self-transformation. So they were very materialists, and now they become more spiritualists because they see this light, this good, positive things after the death of their body. So they experienced this good feelings, I can say. And then they come back and they tell that materialist life is not being very materialist. Materialism is good for our progress, but to be fixed in the materialism is not good. So we need to go closer to our spirituality, to our spiritual life, and then we have this comfort that life continues, and things will be fine.
Yeah, we can say like the materialism is good for the progress, but once the materialism control yourself, that's the dangerous thing.
Yeah.
So we need to establish a boundary. Say, okay, up to now, I need to be under control of it.
Yeah.
It's we are not against possessions. We're not against money. What we are against is use this the right way, but don't make it control yourself. No. Yeah.
It's important that what is considered scientifically possible is largely defined by the materialist paradigm, as you said before, Nadia, in the which ignores an ever body of conflicting evidence. Look at that. Beyond this paradigm, some researchers are already expanding the possible, opening us to promising horizons of discovery. We are keen to share, I don't know if Stephen can put there, openscience.org. If you visit this website, you can see how many information this scientist that is studying the consciousness out of the brain, out of the body, is a living being out of the body that they are still living after death. is something very important in nowadays. Even when studying past life regression, that I had an experience as well. One day we'll talk about that. It's something very important because our spirit as an eternal being can bring all these universal conscience that we bring with us since the caves, since we were in a different body, many different existences, etc. We are building up strongly our spirit, better and better each existence. That is something important that the scientists are researching that will help us for the future in our planet here, helping us to live in a better life, as you, Stephen said, low ambition, using money in the right way, helping the poor, help each other, being a better person, improving our way in a better death, in a better die, in a better spiritual world, in a better living beings. Because we are living here, but living there as well. We work on that. As a spiritist, we work really in this field as well, the two ways of life, easily, normal, not something supernatural. It's supernatural in such a way. It's something that is normal for us.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And just wanted to emphasize here there are a lot of people from joining us, people from London, people from America, from Ireland, from Brazil, so from Sweden. We have people from Sweden here. So it's good to see
Portugal,
Portugal.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
I've heard that someone from Hawaii.
Australia.
Hawaii. Wow. Yeah. 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 So it's good. Okay, we have just 10 minutes. I would say what's our final thoughts, because we will do a kind of a series of near death experience. Like I can give the spoiler now. Next Thursday, our subject is near death experience. Letters from beyond. So this is for next Thursday. So save the date. Next Thursday, 18th of February, we're going to talk about it. So what's your final consideration, my dear Elsa, about this first topic of near-death experience?
I think something very important is Esteban, Charles, Nadia, that because we are, when we are preparing, we are learning. We don't have everything. We have to learn in order to improve ourselves. And the good thing is we can share with others because can resonate to people in Australia, can resonate to people in America, people can have the same experiences. So this opportunity that we have using the to make these boundaries down, to make the walls down, and openly talk about these kind of things is very important because we are not put mask in our eyes anymore. We have to learn. We must improve our souls. We must think that is impossible as a beautiful body that we have, a beautiful machine that have only just once to use in a short period of years, 10 years, 40 years, 100 years. We are eternal. We can continue living, coming back again, improving ourselves. So next week, when we talk about the letter from beyond or from the spirits, will be good because we can prove these letters, then the life goes on. That these studies are amazing and still going further, if you have the opportunity, go to our website, www.bas.org.uk. You can have free Allan Kardec books in English, but we can have it free from Charles, that can say his website is at spiritism.net. Free books of Allan Kardec as well, that you can study, you can use these books to really have a good literature to improve in academic way in your home and study these books, read these books, that you have a bigger horizon for all of us. That's my thank you everyone for watching us, for staying with us and spread the word, spread the information to others as well. Amplify our mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles, my friend, what's your conclusion?
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, I mean, this is all about it. I mean, most of the problem in our world are selfishness and pride. And this is giving the wars, this is giving the people who have not the necessary to, not enough food, and the people homeless with this very cold weather, and the people also suffering this pandemic of COVID without having proper, not even the bottle of oxygen to help in the critical cases. I mean, all these problems we have in our world are basically coming from this selfishness and pride. And the reasoning we told at the beginning, which is saying, okay, after this there is nothingness, so we have really to make profit a maximum whilst we are here. And this is basically the root cause of all these problems. If we think a little bit different, if we think that we will bring our consciousness with us after the death, good or bad, then the point of view is completely different. We can take with us good consciousness or bad consciousness. And this is what we have to think about. And this gives us a huge strength to autonomously, as per our own will, really go and try to make us to become better person, to have more solidarity, more fraternity, more charity, to be better persons, and to fight also to stop all these problems, or to refrain them as far as possible in the world, because we all aim to live in a better world, in a world which is driven by goodness, by solidarity, and stopping all these violences and all these problems we have. And really, I mean, in a materialistic point of view, it's very difficult to come to this conclusion. But with a spiritualist point of view, we come to it logically by the thinking as a natural consequence. And thanks God, we have all these evidences about what we are saying about the spirituality, about the existence, the survival of the soul. And this will, of course, be the paradigm of the near future, I hope, to make this life better. And this is our mission. This is why we are here tonight, to try to explain all these arguments and to help you all who are watching this video also to raise, to gain a little bit in happiness as we are, and to have serenity, calm, patience in front of these natural difficulties in the life. So this is our wish, and that's why Kardec wrote, out of charity there is no salvation. Thank you for your time and for your listening.
I see, my friend. Dr. Nadia?
Yeah, I totally agree with both Elsa and Charles. I think, as Elsa said, we are learning, and we are here to, with our hearts, to help understand that life goes on. And I just received a message here on my phone, a friend who lost her loved one not long ago, and she said, I watched you on Facebook page about spirituality. No, just now. And it refreshed my memory about and discussion and comforted me a little. So for me, it's all good. I think just because of her, I am happy. I will sleep better, and I will know that our job here is worth for sure. If we can help one person from 1,000, I'm happy. So the video will be online, will be kept online. So you want to share, you can share, you can watch over and over, you can ask questions in private or on a chat box, and we answer after. So we are here to help, and we are happy to help. So we feel better helping, and yeah, and I'm very happy now.
Yes.
Before we finish, Esteban, I'd like to ask you if you can share before the end our flyer of the Congress. So save the date of May. You can really share with your friends. It will be a free online Congress with Dr. Alexander Moreira Almeida, the psychiatrist from Brazil, Dr. Peter Fennick, neuropsychiatrist from the UK, Dr. Tanya Stevanin from Sheffield, the UK as well, Dr. Natalia Tobert, that is of the British Spiritist Medical Association, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni, neuroscientist, and Dr. Sonia Doi. It will be an amazing day, one-day Congress, but everyone can participate and learn because we will talk about spirituality and medicine. That is very important in our days to be aware about that. So once again, thank you all, and be with you next week. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elsa. And everybody save the date. It's important, 22nd of May. We will put some reason behind the Spiritism teachings, the basic knowledge. Okay, so I would like to say thank you, everyone. Always we're gonna bring some topics here we can discuss in a reason way, also with the help of science and philosophy. We try to comfort ourselves as well. So thank you very much. Don't forget, next week, same time, 9 p.m. London time, we will keep going on part 2 of this talk, and we're gonna say something. We're gonna perhaps read here some parts of the letters from the beyond. So thank you very much. I wish you all a great evening, or a great beginning of evening for you guys in America, or a great day for you in Australia. So thank you very much. I know you are those friends who are in Australia, in Canberra here. They are in the future, they are in the future, seeing the past, because they are already.
And those in Hawaii are 12 hours behind, so they are having lunch now.
Exactly.
Yes. And thank you, Kardec Radio.
Thank you, Kardec Radio.
Thank you, Kardec Radio as well, né?
Yeah, thank you, Kardec Radio, because now we have like Ireland, London, Lithuania, and France in the same place. See how small we are? No, we are in the same place. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the talk, and I'll see you next Thursday. Thank you very much.
See you next Thursday.
Goodbye.
Have a good evening.
Thank you all.
Good day. Bye-bye.
All the best.
Thank you. And a little video, no, Stephen? Kardec Radio.
We hope you have enjoyed our program. Spread the word, Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.